Hey everyone, it's Monica. Welcome back to Because Jesus Bible Journaling. Today I am journaling about trees in the desert. And although I'm doing this in my interleaved Bible, you can certainly do this as a tip-in your regular Bible. I'm going to show you how I did this. This is a template from my Etsy store, and I will link my Etsy store up in the upper right-hand corner for you. And originally on the template sheet, it's that size. And I have actually taken it, copied it, pasted it into a Word document or a Pages document, and I've enlarged it. And I did this in a previous video about a week ago and just loved it, and I am doing it again today. So quickly, I'm just underlining the verse here, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is a really fun prophecy about the Lord planting trees in the midst of the desert. And I just think that's such a powerful picture of what our God is able to do. And so the lettering that I'm adding here first, it just says, "The hand of the Lord has done this." Now I do want to mention those little pieces of washi tape. I did weaken the adhesive by putting it on my skin and peeling it off first. That's going to protect my Bible page from tearing. And then I did grab a ruler here to help me out with these straight lines. Even though I'm tracing, my lines are so much straighter when I go ahead and grab that ruler and put it to use. Now, this template here involves 6 different trees. There's actually 7 trees mentioned in the verse, but for the sake of aesthetics, I just limited it to 6 because it was a more balanced number artistically for me to work into this template. So we have a cedar tree, a myrtle tree, an acacia tree, an olive tree, a cypress tree, and a pine tree. And basically I'm just going through with these Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens and just tracing the outline of each one of these little tree pictures that I had created. And these pens are permanent, so these are going to enable me to use water-based media, and I'm not going to have to worry about these pens bleeding or having the color from them move around the page. So you've seen me use them before, you know how much I love using them. They are just great. And it's so much nicer to trace with these than with pencil because I don't actually have to go back and erase later on. Now throughout this video, you'll see that I've definitely cut parts of the process that are either kind of repetitive or you can sort of fill in the blanks with what I've done. So I hope that's okay. I think you're getting the idea though of the process and how you could do this in your own Bible. Like I said, you could definitely make this a tip-in a normal traditional journaling Bible. You could put this in a journal. You can use this however you like. So today I am grabbing my watercolor crayons, and these things are awesome. You basically scribble on the page and then later blend them with a damp brush. And I just love these. They do not bleed through the page. This is a page that has no gesso, no matte gel medium, nothing on it to prevent bleed through. But it's just not necessary when I use these watercolor crayons because I've never had them bleed through a Bible page on me. So I'm basically keeping kind of the lighter outline to the left, the darker outline to the right, and then finally the darkest outlines down toward the bottom of each sort of chunk of needles on this cedar tree. And then as you can see, I'm just taking a damp brush, and today I'm not going for a super vibrant look. These crayons, if I were to fill in each section with green and then go in with a brush and blend it around, they are so vibrant, you would get amazing color payoff, but kind of the look that I wanted to go for on this particular page, I just kind of wanted it to be a little bit more muted and a little bit more subtle, a little bit more natural, not so vibrant and so bright. So I'm basically keeping the color toward the edge, and then you can see as I go back in with my brush, first blending the light colors and then blending the darker colors, I'm still getting a lot of green on the page, but it's subtle enough that it's making me happy. So that was just kind of the look I was going for. Now I am going to kind of jump around a little bit from tree to tree, from section to section. I just really like to make sure that where I have worked before is pretty well nice and dry before I go in and try to work on a section right up against it that might be a different color. So for instance, you'll see me work on the green in this tree first. I'll let it dry before I come back and finally add the pink in for the flowers on the myrtle tree. Now I did Google image all these trees when I created the template, and I also kind of kept track of what colors I should be using. Some of these trees are darker green, some are lighter green, so I am trying to be somewhat true to nature, but I'm not a professional here, so do extend me some grace. The whole idea behind this is just to get the theme of this verse onto the page. And to me, and in my heart, the theme of this is just that the Lord is miraculous and powerful. Now, we all know that trees do not flourish in a desert. Certainly not all of these types of trees that are mentioned grow well in a desert. But that doesn't stop God, does it, from putting them in the desert and they flourish and they grow. There's so many metaphorical meanings you can take out of this. It's just incredible. Now here you do see I am using a wet brush or a damp brush, and I'm painting directly from the tip of this crayon. That's going to give me just a little more control. And then I blotted it with a paper towel to lighten up the crazy brightness that these crayons give off. It's really pretty amazing. So back to the metaphorical meanings that you could draw from this. I mean, one is it just reveals God's character, that he is miraculous. Two, it reveals that even in the midst of deserts, God can bring forth life. There's so much you can draw from that, whether it has to do with being in a hard season of life or experiencing some suffering of some kind. We can look for the trees within the desert that the Lord is calling to life, that he's bringing to life. I just love that. I am kind of a sucker for nature, for trees, for green things, and it's really cool that it sounds like the Lord kind of is too. He enjoys these trees that he's created, and he loves to call them forth to life. So as you can see, as I'm going through, I'm just doing the same method on each and every one of these trees. Now the sixth tree, I am going to mix up my method a little bit, and I'll talk about that just right now. So I am going to do the same thing I did with the flowers on the myrtle tree, which is paint directly from this watercolor crayon. And so I'm going from the darkest to the middle, in the middle of the tree, to the lighter colors on the outside of the tree. And this time I'm just using little brush strokes to kind of paint in a needly feel. And I'm kind of hoping that the little branches that I drew that are kind of showing through will also give some texture to this pine tree and really just make it look like an evergreen. Now I'm going in with an extremely light hand with this light brown color, trying to make this look a little bit sandy. Maybe it just looks a little bit more like dirt, but my idea was let's make this look like these trees are just kind of popping right out of the sand and right out of the desert, kind of without reason, without cause. Because I think that's really what the scripture is talking about here, is it's really just because the Lord says so, and that's what happens. So again, going in here and doing some work on the trunks of the tree now. These trees also vary in color of trunk, and so I did Google image that as well to try to help me figure this out. It's really kind of hard to be perfect in all of your color interpretation and all of that, but it sure was fun to really observe all the different types of nature that the Lord has created for us to enjoy. Again, anytime I'm finding my colors are too vibrant or dark, I'm just kind of blotting them with a paper towel. And you'll want to do that pretty quickly. These crayons are not like normal watercolor. Once they are set, they are kind of staying there. They're not easy to remove. Whereas with normal watercolors, you can wet them and kind of dab and pick up more color for quite a while. But these tend to be slightly more permanent. So I just simply finished off the trunks of these trees, and that was kind of the end of the coloring process. Lastly, I just grabbed this brush pen. It's Faber-Castell PITT pen as well, and I'm just thickening up the downstroke of each letter. You must be tired of hearing me say that by now, but I just think it's such a great tip for lettering. Whether you're using cursive or printing, just add a little bit of thickness to that downstroke, and it's going to make whatever lettering you've done look a little bit more like calligraphy, give it a little bit more boldness. I'm just adding some personal journaling onto the bottom of the page across the way there. Just a quick prayer. And that is it. Here's a peek at the back of the page. That one trunk is still wet, which is why it's showing through the page, but as you can see, no bleeding or anything like that. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Jump into the Word of God for yourself today. It is amazing. If you're interested in this template, you'll find my Etsy store link in the description box below. It's Because Jesus Bible Art. Find me on Facebook as well. I have templates for free over in my Facebook group for subscribers of the YouTube channel here and members of the group over there. Enjoy the rest of my videos. Click on my face to subscribe so you don't miss more videos just like this one. Have a great day.